Can a Weber Kettle with a Slow N Sear attachment really replace a smoker? Today, we're putting it to the test with beef back ribs. One of the most overlooked cuts of beef is the ribs from a standing rib roast. By the end of this video, you'll know whether the Slow N Sear can really handle low and slow cooking, how to get great results, and why it's my go-to over the snake method for shorter cooks. Let's jump right into it. Today, we're using the ribs attached to the standing rib roast. I actually bought this roast to cut into ribeye steaks, and that's a video for another day. But I wasn't about to let these ribs go to waste. Most people focus on the prime rib or the ribeye steaks and completely overlook what's attached underneath, but that's a mistake. Cooked the right way, these beef back ribs are incredibly flavorful. They're rich, beefy, and basically ribeyes on a stick. Let's get the Slow N Sear set up. One thing I really like about it is that I can use leftover charcoal. Unlike the snake method, the briquettes don't have to be perfectly uniform in size or neatly lined up, so it's a great way to use up coals from previous cooks instead of throwing them away. As I fill it up, I'm adding a few wood chunks throughout the charcoal so they'll ignite gradually and give us clean smoke over the course of the cook. Another reason I reach for the Slow N Sear is how quick it is to set up. Instead of spending several minutes building a snake, I can have this ready to go in under a minute. Now don't get me wrong, I still love the snake method for long overnight cooks, but for shorter smokes or quick indirect cooks like this, I find myself reaching for the Slow N Sear almost every time. Time to get these on the grill. I seasoned these back ribs with Kinder's wood-fired garlic the night before, but that's completely optional. You can season them right before they hit the grill with your favorite barbecue rub. You want to start out the cook with the vents wide open on the top and the bottom. 34 minutes in, ambient temperature is 177 degrees and internal temperature of the ribs is 94 degrees. It's time to make our first adjustment. I'm gonna go ahead and close off some of the vents. I do want to see what it looks like though. Okay, it's looking pretty good. You want to make sure that the vent is over the ribs, remember? So yeah. Close it off to about half open here and close this about halfway open too on the bottom. So halfway between this dot and this dot, and then halfway open on the top. You want to make sure that you're getting a clean, thin, white smoke, and in order to do that, you have to have hot charcoals with the wood burning. Never rely on the temperature on the grill, as it will always read higher than what it actually is in the grill grate level. An hour and 34 minutes into the cook. It's looking pretty good. So this is probe 1 here. That's at 270 degrees, and then over here is at 279. So this is hotter, I guess, because it's closer to the flame here. And then the temperature though, it's like 176 here of the ribs and then 187 here. So I do want to point this closer to the heat source to kind of get it to cook a little bit faster. So just like this, and hopefully that being closer to the heat source, it's going to be cooking a little bit faster. I also want to lower the temperature a little bit, and so I'm going to adjust the vents from halfway open on the bottom to about a quarter of the way open. Very minute adjustments here, and then same here. So now we're at like a quarter of the way open on the top and a quarter of the way open on the bottom. Just look at that bar. If you're enjoying this step-by-step cook, hit the like button so I know to make more videos like this. And if you haven't already, subscribe for more practical backyard barbecue. Use the internal temperature of the beef ribs to tell you when to check, not when to pull the meat off. Start probing for tenderness once they're in range. If the probe slides in like warm butter, they're done. I usually start checking at around 195 degrees Fahrenheit internally. It is not tender at all. Open up the vents to about halfway. The fire seems like it's dead. It's been 2 hours and 34 minutes. It's reaching 205 degrees on both temperature probe. Again, we're checking for probe tenderness. I feel like it's still pretty tough, so we're gonna do a few more minutes and see if we can get this super tender. 2 hours and 41 minutes. It's reading 210 degrees on both temperature probes. I left it open for halfway open on the top and halfway open on the bottom just to get the fire going again last time. Yeah, it's definitely better. I wouldn't say it's like super tender, but I think I like it. It's time to pull these ribs off the grill and wrap it in the foil for rest. Resting the finished meat for at least 30 minutes make a huge difference in the final product. Alright, it's been about an hour since I have pulled it off, so we'll see what the finished product looks like. There it is. Alright, moment of truth. We'll see how it tastes. Oh man, look at that smoke ring and that bark. Let's see how it tastes. That's the best beef back ribs I've cooked. The Weber Kettle with Slow N Sear attachment. Link in the description if you want to buy it. Yeah, that's delicious. Has a perfect amount of smoke flavor. It's juicy, it's moist, and it was a fast cook for ribs because it's such a small cut. Oh man. Perfect flavor. Thank you guys for watching. I'm Jason. This is Backyard Pit Lab, and I'll see you in the next cook.